But I want to share with you a very quick story. When I was younger, there were 3 words that I had a hard time saying. It's not, I am sorry. I was well acquainted with those words. I messed up a lot. No, it was the words, I love you. Now, I wasn't against them, but I struggled to say them. And part of it might be because the family lineage that I come from is more German. And if any of you grew up German, it's kind of the philosophy, I told you I love you once, and if it changes, I'll let you know, right? Yeah, some of you know that, okay? But here's the thing. My family would say it, but you only said it to someone who was really, really, really special to you. And so, even when Beth, my wife, when we started dating in college, it took me a while to tell her, I love you. I wasn't just going to throw that out there. Kind of held on to it. And when I told her for the first time, I actually said, I confessed to her, I only told 2 other ladies in my entire life that I loved them. One was my mom and one was my grandma. And you're lady number 3. Then, I met Beth's grandparents. Now you have to understand, I come from a Lutheran background, German roots. Beth's grandparents come charismatic Pentecostals from Kentucky. Okay, if you know a little bit about denominations, it's like the Pharisees and the Herodians, all right? And the first time I ever met them, I think we had gone out for a lunch or something at a restaurant. And, it was a good time. I got to meet them. And as they were saying bye, they gave Beth a hug, and they gave me a hug. And they said, Beth, we love you. And they said, Dave, we love you. I don't even know you. How can you say that? You have no idea if this relationship's even going to work. I'm like, I wasn't sure. I mean, I'm like, look at Beth, look at me. Chances were not good in my favor, right? But they said it. And I just thought, what? You love me? We just had a 2-hour lunch and you love me? And I don't remember my exact response, but I think it was like, yeah, you too, right? But here's the thing. Over time, as I got to know Beth's grandparents, I realized that they didn't just say it, they meant it. They were quick to love. Quick to love. And a big part of that was because of their faith in Jesus Christ. They loved God, so they loved me. Now, over the years, it's become easier for me to say I love you. I think a big part of that is I'm good friends with Mike Hendricks, and he tells everybody. Right? We've been to places where, I don't know, anybody he doesn't invite in, he's loving everyone. Right? He tells them. That's refreshing. So I'm able to say it more and more, but here's the thing. I'm not just saying it. I get to mean it. I get to mean it. And the reason I can look at someone who I haven't spent much time with, someone who's not my family member, and I can look and I can say, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. It's because the love of God is pouring through me. I can love and mean it because I'm loving God with all. So I want us today, as we leave, to be a bunch of people who are okay with saying, I love you a little bit more. Saying, I love you a little bit louder sometimes. And not just your family members or those who are super close to us. Because what did Jesus say? What was the second? To love your neighbor as yourself. And the only way we can do that is through the love of God. Well, then the question is, well, who's my neighbor? Well, he has a whole parable about that. We'll get to a different time. But here's the thing. Your neighbor's not just the people you live around. Your neighbor's not just the people who look like you, talk like you, act like you. Your neighbor is every person that God puts into your path. Every single one. And if you're doing some math, you're thinking, well, there's a lot of people I don't like who God puts in my path. Those are your neighbors. You need to love them. You're like, well, how do I do that? Because there's some people who I encounter, maybe some people I work with, maybe some people in my own neighborhood, in my own family, they're hard to love. And let's give it to an extreme example. Think about you're driving down I-25, right? Yeah, we're going there, right? I-25. You're going down I-25, and some guy comes roaring by you at 85 miles an hour. He cuts you off, he passes you, and then before you can even react, he's over on the shoulder passing someone else. And you say, Do I have to love that guy? And the answer is no. He's a jerk. You wish. No. Don't remember that part, okay? No. You love him. You love him. You love him even if his license plate is from a state that we're not going to mention right now, because you are going to love him. You don't have to love the way he drives. You don't have to love his attitude. You don't have to love what he's doing, but you love him. You're able to love him because you are loving God with all. And that's why in that scenario, maybe a little bit later, because it always happens, doesn't it? When someone's driving like that, you eventually catch up with them, right? Whether they're wrecked on the side of the road or just because of the flow of traffic, right? You catch up with them and you see him and he looks at you, remembering that cutoff, remembering that pass, and maybe he glares at you, maybe even shows you a certain finger. And you do, with all of your Holy Spirit, Jesus' strength, you roll down your window, you look him right in the eye, and you say, I love you. They'll say, what? They'll probably go away because he thinks you're crazy. All right? So it's a win-win. All right? But here's the thing. We can love because we're loving God with what? With all. With all.